Hello, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're awesome and well. Hey, up here in our Brisbane office today, out and about, traveling around, doing a little bit of, socializing and travel. It's quite different, it's quite new, but always able to do, well, mostly anyway, able to do the old Wealth Coffee Chats on the road. Good to see a few of you in the house already. Hey, good morning. We've got Chris there. We've got Alison, Jeff. Yeah, I've got, it's just some of the built-in music, Jeff. Disco ball. Brendan, good to see you. Alexis, Deb, morning to you. Tim. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, it was a 50-50 bet, Tim. But yeah, folks, the interest rates are on pause, which was to be expected, fairly expected. Like I've said a few times to you guys before, the best way to understand a few of these things is to go and find where aggregated a lot of opinions and ideas are aggregated into putting their money where their mouth is, right? And the best way to have a look at interest rates in Australia and many places in the world is the aggregated opinion of bonds, the price of bonds, which is sort of hitches its wagon to interest rate prices. Anyway, there you go. But this morning, that's not what I'm here to chat about today, but by default, interest rates are pausing, team. Here's the call. Here's the general gist of it. If inflation goes down, because inflation is a historical measure, so we're like waiting for figures from a month ago or 2 months ago. Inflation continues to go down, interest rates will stay on pause, folks. The RBA is going to wait for all of the interest rate rises to flow through into, there's about 30 to 40% of mortgages are still to come off fixed interest rates this year. And they want to see what goes on there, right? Inflation numbers and figures have gone down a smidgen. That's enough for them to say, all right, well, let's hold our horses. We've done sort of 10 interest rate rises in a row, the highest interest rate rises in a row we've had, I think, in history. So they're backing off a little. The caveat is, folks, if inflation still goes up, they'll give us another punch in the nose with another 0.25, and then that'll be it. That's kind of like it's kind of this caveat. But the thing we all know, I've talked about this ad nauseum, is that we are on we're already underway. We're already underway with the next property cycle, and it's a 10 to 15 year cycle. And today I wanted to say, all right, what do you guys think? What do we think that's going to drive the next 10 to 15 year cycle in real estate? And something is already underway, and it's kind of it's in sequence. I'm going to talk about today. There's 5 major key drivers that are going to drive the they're going to drive the next market movement. Yeah, Jeff. Listen, I think when you're not selling headlines, or you're not trying to get yourself noticed as an economist so you can work for the bank or something, if you just take a deep breath and have a look at sort of what's normal and what's happened in the past and what's going on, you can see what's happening. I mean, interest rates aren't going to go to 15%. That's fucking bullshit. Property prices aren't going to drop 40%. That's absolute rubbish. That's all just headline malarkey. We all know that. That's why you guys tune in every morning, because the media comes at us, with so much fear and ignorance. It's not funny. But anyway, let's talk about, hey, we picked it. We've been talking about it for 6 months, 12 months. Interest rates this year are going to pause. Maybe even by the end of this year, they'll go down. Certainly by the beginning of next year, they'll start to come down. We are already underway with the next cycle. What are the things that are going to drive the next cycle? All right, put it in the chat. Let's go. What do you guys think? There's 5 things that are driving or going to drive the next cycle. A few of them are already underway pretty significantly. Chuck them in the chat. Let's see what you guys think. If you're able to, let's get involved in what that might be, because the number one, population for sure, Dean. Population for sure. That is absolutely going to drive the next cycle. Lack of supply, boom. Chris, housing shortages, yes. Supply for sure. Those two are absolutely here already and doing the do. All right, well, let's have a look at, keep putting stuff in the chat if you guys think, okay, lack of supply. Tim's got some stuff here. Lack of supply, more people, lack of visible builders, wage growth, population, supply, demand. Okay, cool. All right, well, here's my thoughts when it comes to what's going to drive the next cycle, team. All right, we are already well underway. We're 12 months into the rent boom. Okay, rents are booming. Rents boom. Rent boom. That is being underwritten, that is being rocketed by the cost increase on all of us, for all of us sitting here, okay? Every single one of us who owns a property, now our cost base has gone up. Listen, it's been well over 10 years of interest rates going down. Well over 10 years interest rates going down. By and large, folks, property rental yields or dollar rentals actually went sideways, or in some cases went down a little bit in comparison to 10 years ago, because our interest rates went down. Now, that wasn't going to last forever, but the number one driver, we are already driving now. It's driving now. Rents are going up. It's still going to go up. I believe we've got at least another 2 years worth of rent increases, significant rent increases across the board in Australia, across the board, because of these next 2 things that are a problem if you're on the wrong side of the ledger. Rents going up, interest rates coming down a little bit next year will take the heat out of that interest or the rents being forced up, but it certainly will make, and I did this yesterday, go and check out yesterday's, within 2 years, every property will be positive cash flow again. That's my call, especially if you understand what you're doing, especially if you can manage when interest rates go down, reset your loans. When rents go up, put your rents up. Okay, so number one, rents are booming. Population is booming. All right. We are already at record numbers of permanent migration. So the government is opening the doors and saying, yep, we need more people. We don't have, the stupidity of the government. Yeah. Well, that's true, isn't it, Brendan? Let's face it. Most of this is about how dumb the government is with managing what they're up to. But anyway, I'll have a sip of coffee. Oh yeah, we have a population boom. It's underway. Not that we're having more babies, not that we're doing anything here in Australia that's helping that. The government's opened the borders. We need immigration to grow our workforce here in Australia, et cetera, et cetera. Population boom. Over the next couple of years, over 1 million people, 1 million people plus, 1 million plus people are coming to live in Australia. So already we have a shortage. Let's talk about the next one. Supply absolutely is collapsed. Across the board, depending on where you are, anywhere, supply is down between 70 and 90% across Australia from 5-6 years ago. 70 and 90% down, where we are going to have an extra 1 million people in the country up, and we've got huge amounts of pressure in the market to make the rents go up. And when interest rates go down, that's when people can afford to buy real estate already. If you have a look at SQM research, I talk about this all the time, a leading measure. The furthest you can get into the future when it comes to real estate values is the asking price of a property for sale today, because if it's on the market today, it becomes statistics anywhere from 2 to 3 months into the future. Okay, so the asking price, go and have a look at SQM research. The average asking price across most cities and average across the whole of Australia has increased in the month of March. Okay, hasn't decreased. So supply, existing supply, new supply, absolutely poleaxed. And on the back of, unfortunately, very sadly for Australia, is the collapse of many, well over 25 of our largest home builders in Australia have collapsed. Have gone, one of the most recent ones, just having a mental blank, 1,500 homes in Melbourne. Someone put it in the chat for me. I have an absolute mental blank right now. The recent builder that just went into liquidation and had a lot of homes in Melbourne. Trying to think on the fly. Maybe I haven't had enough coffee. Anyway, so that's 1,500 houses, folks. And across the board, Porter Davis. Thanks, Chris. Yep. And there's well over 25 large builders across Australia, anywhere from having 300 to 1,500 houses in the pipeline under construction. Not going to happen anytime soon, right? And tell me in the chat, I don't know if anyone's been involved in this stuff before, when builders go broke, how long it was taking ages anyway to build the bloody houses, because we had a supply shortage, not only a shortage of actually completed property, but construction materials and also people to build them. We had a massive shortage. How long does it take? How long will it take now, folks, for, let's say, those 25,000 houses, and there was an article the other day, saying 25,000. I haven't confirmed that just yet. So let's just say 25,000 houses that have been caught up in this builders going broke. Yep, way too long, Tim. Ladies and gents, that's going to take 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years to fix up those problems. And that's not even talking about trying to build some properties today that someone wants today, okay? It's a damn disaster, Alexis. And yeah. Well, there you go. Like local schools are being impacted, all sorts of stuff, team. And it's a national disaster, actually. And the government's doing 2/5 of fuck all about it. Excuse the French. And they should be fixing it up. They friggin' caused this problem. Anyway, I'm not going to get off track today because I need to get to the end of my conversation this morning. Right. So supply, absolute disaster. If we're lucky, we might. Well, that's it, Chris. And then that's what happens. What happens is the builders go, I can't risk my livelihood and my life on this. I'm just going to move. I'm not going to be a builder anymore. This is rubbish. This is bullshit. And absolutely, the buyers, everyone's losing, Alison, in that mix. And it's not great. On the flip side, if you say, right, there's a flip side, there's a positive and a negative. On the positive, if you are on the positive side of this stuff, then you're going to benefit financially. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles right now for the marketplace. What else is going to drive the next cycle? Right. Infrastructure. Okay. Tell me right now, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but, infrastructure in Australia, it's unbelievable government spending and a large amount of infrastructure events and activity, things like the Olympic Games, folks, in Brisbane. Okay. It's a building cliff. You're dead right. We've got a mortgage cliff. We've got a building cliff. We've got cliffs everywhere. Don't walk off them, right? As we go along, right? So the next cycle, infrastructure, record. Just an example down in Melbourne, the largest public infrastructure project ever in history in Victoria. What is it? Tell me that one in the chat, folks. It's underway. It's going to be around for ages. There's lots of other projects. I've got a slide or a stat. Actually, I think I might be able to pull that one up. Let me see if I can. I think I've got a slide here from. Check out this. Can you guys see that? There you go. Victoria, is a beneficiary. Infrastructure records. Yeah, the train, folks. Check this out. 21 extra, 21 billion. Use a better color pen, Jason. 21 billion extra in Victoria. So that's pretty interesting. New South Wales, an extra billion. SA, an extra 1.3 billion. WA, an extra 2 billion. The ones that haven't changed. Queensland's gone down. This is from the federal government of recent times. Tassie stayed the same. ACT stayed the same. Northern Territory stayed the same. But the local government in Queensland is stepping in to do a bunch of these things. All right, so let's have a look at this. What is the go? What's going to drive the next cycle? Tell me in the chat. Do you guys know what the next cycle? Yeah. Yeah, we've already got our trains sorted, Alison. There you go. What do you guys think? There's a little. It's not a secret squirrel here, but it's something. It's a once in a lifetime thing. What's going to drive the next cycle? We've got 4 things already going our way, folks. 4 things are going our way. That they are certainly going to drive the next cycle. Anyone know what this once in a lifetime, once in a demographic thing that is underway right now? Also, anyone know what it is? Com Games, Olympics. Yeah, Jeff. Well, that's certainly once in a lifetime. But let's have a look at this. What's going to drive the next cycle of pricing across the country? Well, here's the big thing that rates are still like rates are going to be. I mean, let's face it, Tim. Build to rent. Build to rent's one of those things, Alison, that it could be. Build to rent could be a problem. The banning of TikTok. Yep, that's so good. Build to rent could be a problem. for the real estate market. Anytime the government gets involved and messes with this stuff, they fuck it up. Excuse the French. They just the NRAS, National Affordability Rental Scheme. They've stuffed it, right? They've ruined the value of boomers. Stephen is on it, right? They've ruined the value of some real estate. The biggest structural change ever in history, boomers checking out, right? We are going to have the largest shift, the greatest transfer of wealth ever in Australia's history. I don't know if I can. Oh, hang on. Sorry. There we go. Did that work? I think we lost each other. I'll go back to my little thing here. There we go. We're going to have the largest transfer of wealth ever in Australia's history, folks. The richest demographic we have ever seen, and statistics say we will ever see. Yep, the $6 trillion inheritance, folks. That is going to significantly drive the next cycle, folks. And tell me, and I haven't got time to dive into it deeply, but tell me, what is the one type of real estate? It's generalized, not like, 3 bedrooms or stuff like, which is another thing. 3-bedroom apartments in good spots are going to be amazingly valuable, just so we know. All right, folks, but tell me, what style of real estate? Sam talks it all about the time. What is going to drive what's going to outperform in this next decade? Yep. And there's actually going to be a lot of boomers selling their businesses too, Brendan, which is pretty interesting. All right, folks. Yep. I mean, it's going to be a decade, family home. So they're going to sell their family home. But then, boom, Jeff is on it. Nice, Jeff. Good work. Right? They are going to go to flight to quality, folks. Flight to quality. You think about this. Think about it right now. Over the next decade, they're going to sell their family homes for record prices. Record prices, okay? Record prices. They're going to have, low to no debt. They're going to have many millions of dollars. What type of real estate, what type of lifestyle will the majority of them want to own and buy? Okay, just think about that. They love apartments, Stephen. You're dead right. And we already see it here because we manage and sell secondhand apartments in Brisbane with our residential agency. That's where I am today. 3-bedroom apartments or really good quality 2-bedroom apartments. People are loving. Anyway, but also the other one is the green change where they rack off into the country and buy a little bit of land. But that's going to be less than the others. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. There are 5 big drivers. 4 we know about, folks. We're on them, like we're all over them. The last one, that one's going to accelerate wealth like it's going to be some crazy times out there. Interesting times. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. Magnesium pools. It's so true, Jeff. It is going to be. And one of the things, Sam was on this ages ago, folks. Sam was already on this ages ago, right? Not only flight to quality, but real estate that is attached to wellness. Folks, people will have the money and they will want to have wellness, massages, magnesium pools. They'll want that stuff at their fingertips, folks. Yep, there you go. Anyway, that's my call. When I look at the world of real estate, we can see it, feel it, feel the pulse of it. That's what we believe is going to drive the next cycle. There you go. Livable amenities, absolutely Hardick. Great amenities are going to be vital. And the city, listen, the government doesn't want urban sprawling for the future of our cities, folks. Anyway, there you go. I'm done and dusted. Wealth Coffee Chat, over and out. I think that's it. Join me tomorrow for another one. If you're around, each morning we get together at 8:10, ladies and gents. So make sure You put the reminders on or sign up for the alerts or whatever it is. This does get turned into a podcast, by the way. If you miss it, you can catch it on YouTube or in the Facebook group. You can download the podcast or listen to it on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. There you go. All right, folks, that's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Thanks for joining me this morning. And you guys take care. Be awesome. Be well. That's it. Done and dusted. Bye for now.